Today I thought we'd have a look at a matching unit for an Endfed antenna. I use a 69-foot Endfed antenna which is fed into this matching unit, which is a locally developed matching unit known as the ZS Minishack Special, or an L match if you want to call it that, but its correct name is the Minishack Special. As you can see here, it has tappings for 40, 20, 15, 10, and then you can set it to 80. In 80 it bypasses the inductance coil and just goes straight through to the 69-foot antenna. You have a variable capacitor as well in series with the in line with the unit. We'll open up one just now and have a look inside. This is one that I built. It was a kit one that was put out by one of the local radio club branches. This is obviously designed more for transmitting than for receiving, but does make a difference to have properly terminated Endfed antenna, even for receiving purposes. You'll find that there's quite a big difference between just feeding the wire straight in, because you've got wildly varying impedances from very high to middle to slightly on the lower side, and with feeding it through a tuner like this, you get a better match, which is obviously, if you're using the 50 ohm connector on your radio, then you definitely need to have a better match to get it to work really well. There's the documentation on the Minishack Special. I'll just try and do it here. You can see it says there ZS6U. That call sign is now obviously owned by somebody else, so we just call it the ZS Minishack Special. Multiband Endfed inverted V antenna system. It doesn't have to be inverted V, but this particular article was written about it. It shows the whole antenna, 69 foot, 21.03 meters. Over here on this page, it shows you where he designed it and the varying reactance of the different bands, and then how he kind of arrived at the 69 foot to get them to work together. There's another table over there. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. And down below here you see the actual construction details for the antenna and what's inside it. There's the coil, the capacitor, the switch, and there's an RF choke as well on the unit. So that's basically, it's fairly simple. The coil you can wind up yourself. The winding instructions are there in the article as well. It's a fairly detailed article. It is on the, if you Google it, you can actually find it. Here's the kit or commercial, it's not really a commercial version, the kit version of the antenna, which is very much, or the matching unit for the antenna. I'll open it up so you can see inside. So this one had quite a nice ceramic, probably not obtainable anymore. I think it's 75 picofarad was the capacitance that was needed for the variable capacitor, but anything up to about 130 around about there is not too critical. There's the coil. This one was also very neatly made. It looks like possibly a bit of coil stock, and then it's attached to a piece of perspex, which on standoff insulators, and then you obviously solder the taps, not obviously, but you solder the taps onto points on the coil, which are going to give you a match for 40, 20, 15, and 10 harmonic bands, and 80 meters, as I said, is a bypass. This extra wire on here I added on, which just bypasses the coil, so if you want to, you can use it directly pick up the antenna and use it straight through. As I said, it's better to go through the actual tuning capacitor part of it as well. Okay, so that's the interior. The choke is hiding at the back. It's enormous by today's standards. You know, the modern RF chokes look much like a resistor. So I don't know what that thing is. It looks like almost like a piece of ferrite rod with lots of coils on it. But it's not a very high value. I think it's one of the fairly common value chokes. I think probably, about looking at it, probably more closer to 1,000, maybe about 800. Some correction on that. Okay, so that's the Minishack Special. The connections at the back. Let's have a look while we're here. Very simple. Red is your antenna coming in, your long wire. That's your earth. Very important to have it connected to an earth or counterpoise if you're in a flat or something or apartment and you can't have An earther counterpoise will work well, and that's obviously going to your transmitter, or in our case to the receiver. So there it all is. So that was something on the Minishack Special. I've tried all the other famous ones with a 49-to-1 matching transformer, 9-to-1, and all the rest of it. This one definitely outperforms them to quite a large extent. I find this a far better, particularly if you're using it for transmitting. This is definitely a much better unit than any of the other ones. As I said, I have tried them all. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you.